Ever notice how some conversations just hit different? You're chatting with a friend and it's like they see right into your soul, maybe even better than family sometimes. That always gets me thinking about the power of connection and why certain relationships just click.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's actually a lot going on beneath the surface.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into the psychology of relationships today, guided by this script for a podcast episode aptly titled The Importance of Relationships. But don't worry, we're going way beyond surface level cliches.
Absolutely. What we have here is a great jumping off point to explore the nitty-gritty of what makes our friendships, family ties, and even romantic relationships tick.
Right, because whether you're a social media butterfly or someone who cherishes their alone time, understanding this stuff is key to, well, being human.
Couldn't agree more.
So the script kicks off with this idea of friendships as our chosen family. Now, I know that phrase gets thrown around a lot, but I think it points to something really important about why these bonds matter so much.
It's about that sense of agency, isn't it? We don't choose our families, but we do choose our friends. We gravitate towards people who share our values, who get our humor, who challenge us in ways that help us grow.
And that's where it gets really interesting, right? Because the script highlights how those strong friendships are linked to better mental health. But it's not just about having someone to grab coffee with, though that's great too. There's actual science behind this.
What's fascinating here is the concept of social support. Research shows that having a strong network of friends actually helps buffer against stress. Think about it. When you're going through a tough time, who are you most likely to turn to? Friends provide a sounding board, a shoulder to cry on, and often a fresh perspective that can help us navigate challenges more effectively.
And that support system, it's crucial when we think about the next layer of relationships this script unpacks family. They call it our foundation, which I get, but even the sturdiest foundations can have their quirks, right?
Absolutely. The script smartly acknowledges that family isn't always picture perfect. It's through those early relationships, both the good and the challenging ones, that we start forming ideas about trust, security, even how to handle conflict. It's like a blueprint, for better or worse, that we carry with us.
Makes you think about that quote from the script, how family is often our greatest support system. But support can look different for everyone, right?
That's such a key point. It's not always about physical proximity or shared DNA. The script touches on this idea of chosen family, which I think speaks volumes. It's about recognizing that our support system can include close friends, mentors, even colleagues, anyone who consistently shows up for us with that unwavering care and encouragement.
So we're back to that theme of active participation in our connections. Whether it's choosing our friends, navigating the ups and downs of family, or even venturing into the realm of romance, which, by the way, the script dives into with refreshing honesty.
Yes, and thankfully, they skip the fairy tale cliches. They focus on emotional intimacy, which I'm glad they do, because it's a term that often gets misunderstood, especially when we're bombarded with these romanticized versions of love.
Right. Sometimes it feels like those rom-coms set us up for unrealistic expectations. So what does emotional intimacy actually mean in the context of romantic relationships?
It's about vulnerability on a much deeper level than we might experience in casual friendships. It's
Oh.
about finding someone who not only accepts our true selves, our quirks, our dreams, even our flaws, but actually cherishes those things about us. It's about feeling truly seen and understood.
And when we feel that level of acceptance, it allows us to show up more authentically in the relationship, wouldn't you say? Which brings us back to the script's point about romance requiring effort. It's not just about finding the one and then coasting along on autopilot.
Exactly. The initial spark is wonderful, but healthy romantic love is about building a partnership where both individuals can grow and thrive, both together and as individuals.
And sometimes that growth comes from navigating challenges, learning to compromise, even having those tough conversations about boundaries and expectations, much like we do in our friendships.
Precisely. Authentic connection, whether with friends, family, or romantic partners, requires ongoing effort, understanding, and a willingness to meet each other with compassion, even amidst disagreements.
So we've explored friendships, we've talked about family dynamics, we even got into the complexities of romance, and through it all, there's this common thread that the script keeps circling back to connection. It's like this fundamental human need that fuels all these different types of relationships.
It is. It's the foundation upon which we build our sense of belonging, our support systems, and ultimately our understanding of ourselves in the world. What I appreciate about this script is that it doesn't just state that relationships are important. It digs into the why.
Right, it's like getting a behind-the-scenes look at how our brains are wired for connection.
Exactly. And understanding those underlying needs, the need for belonging, for security, for intimacy, that's what empowers us to build stronger, healthier relationships in our own lives.
It's about approaching our connections with intentionality and awareness.
Absolutely. And that brings us to, I think, the thought-provoking question the script leaves us with. How do we want to show up in our relationships?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because whether we're talking about deepening the bonds we already have or putting ourselves out there to create new connections, it's an ongoing journey.
It is a journey of growth, self-discovery, and ultimately, it's about understanding what brings us joy and fulfillment in connection with others.
So there you have it, our deep dive into the importance of relationships. Hopefully, you're walking away not just with some warm, fuzzy feelings, but with a deeper understanding of the forces at play in our closest connections.
And perhaps a renewed appreciation for the power of human connection in all its messy, wonderful complexity.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep those connections strong and remember, sometimes the most profound insights come from the simplest conversations.